Today we are going to try a challenge in Stardew Valley where we can only make money from one color. The only rule in the whole challenge is that our money comes from a specific color. So the first thing we have to do is spin the color wheel and see what we get. So I've made us this farmer named Jade, and obviously we have to live on the forest farm because no other farm exemplifies green quite like this one. Day 1 on Green Valley Farm starts by clearing some space for our parsnips. You might be thinking parsnips aren't green, and you'd be right, but we can still grow them to eat. They were given to us for free after all. With our parsnips planted and watered, our next stop is Pierre's for some more seeds and to meet some of the townspeople. Cauliflower and potato are needed for the community center, while kale and green beans are our source of green. Get it? Once our parsnips are planted at home, Jade is off to meet some more people, starting with Linus, who is one of my all-time favorite villagers. Don't mind me. I am not being creepy at all. We've got a foraging level up. Speaking of which, we should probably discuss what color the spring forageables are. They're all kind of green, but they don't count. For anything I was in doubt about, I went with the in-game color classifications. The wiki says that leeks and spring onions are classed as white, and we respect the Stardew wiki in this household. Similarly, dandelions and daffodils are both yellow. So what actually is green in Stardew Valley? Well, I've made a list of green items we can sell that are accessible to us in spring of year 1. We may not be able to sell our spring forageables, but we can sell spring seeds. That's pretty much the end of day 1, where we made a whopping 17 gold off fiber. Day 2. Naturally, Jade's morning starts off watering the crops. Then we pick up our brand new fishing rod from Willie and catch our first ever fish. But the ocean won't have any green fish for us, so there's no point in staying here. Spotting Shane and Alex, it's time to meet some new people. And I realize something when Alex calls Jade the new guy. It turns out Jade has been a boy all along, and if I paid more attention when creating him, or when meeting Pierre yesterday, I'd have already known this. That's what I get for immediately skipping through the introduction dialogue because I've read it 800 times before. The mountain lake is the best place for us to fish in this challenge, as it is the only place we can get green fish on a sunny day in spring. After about 5 hours, Jade left with a full inventory, including 4 algae, 3 largemouth bass, a river jelly, and some junk that wasn't green. The day ended with some farm cleanup and 535 gold from our fishing excursion. Not too bad. On day 3, we have our first rain day, which means our first opportunity to fish for shad in the river. I caught 2, but I got bored of fishing pretty quickly and went straight to Willie's to sell them. I then decided to go meet Harvey, who may or may not be Jade's future husband. Since Jade's whole thing is the color green, his spouse options are Harvey, Alex, and Leah. Unfortunately, we can't date Caroline and save her from her awful marriage and her awful husband. Jade would treat you so much better, Caroline. So anyway, I'm leaning towards Harvey because I've never married him before. We do some ethical logging, never clear cutting, in Cindersap Forest, and that's really pretty much it. Not a super eventful day. I gave Linus another leek on day 4 because I love him and I want him to love me back. Then I went to go fish next to the landslide fixer man to keep him company, but the noises of his tools started to give me a headache and I had to abandon him for a quieter spot. Sorry, dude. I ended up catching a couple treasure chests, and one had rice shoots in it. I hadn't really considered what color rice shoots should be classed as, and the wiki wasn't able to tell me. I looked at pictures of real-life rice shoots, and I decided they're pretty green, so I should be allowed to sell them. I found an artifact spot, but it only had a single stupid rock in it. I had more luck with the Molnar's trash can, which had cookies in it, but my inventory was full, so I cleared some space by giving George a leek. Gifting leeks seems to be a common theme in this playthrough. Pockets full again, I sold my largemouth bass to Willie and gave him a chub. Jade finally completed the introductions quest and gained 100 gold by giving Elliot the trash can cookies. We bought and planted 12 more kale now that we finally had the money to do so. And overnight, our rice shoots and algae money came in. Day 5 started off wonderfully by adopting Fern, our sweet new puppy. Our parsnips were also ready just in time to be our mining food for today. We unlocked the community center cutscene, and I couldn't help but laugh at the stupid rock from yesterday still being there. Jade quickly looked at the Junimo scroll, and then we were off to the mines for the first time, picking up the stupid rock on the way. We got super lucky with the first level, finding a gem node and a ladder almost immediately. I was hoping for an emerald we could sell, but all we got was topaz. At least we have something to give to Gunther. Jade reached level 10 with only 3 of the 15 parsnips left, and we decided to call it a day. He gave some pets to Sweet Fern and went to bed. With the parsnip harvest yesterday, we reached level 1 farming and unlocked the scarecrow crafting recipe. Jade made his first ever scarecrow, only to realize that an evil crow had already eaten one of his kale plants. He was devastated. We went to see the wizard for his help with the Junimos, and they took a foresty trip together. On the way to the community center for our first donations, I spotted something on the Help Wanted board. In order for us to accept and complete one of these quests, it had to be connected to our green theme somehow. A fetch quest for a green item maybe, or a quest for a green villager, things like that. Luckily, this quest was to slay 6 green slimes. That fits the spirit of the challenge perfectly. We got the spring foraging bundle done and earned 30 spring seeds we could sell for money. I bought even more kale seeds from Pierre, since obviously that's one of the only crops we can actually sell. Jade also gave a daffodil to Caroline. It's important for us to befriend her for a couple reasons. 1, she's green, And 2, if we can get her tea sapling recipe, that will be a future source of income for us. Even if we planted tea saplings now, they wouldn't produce until the end of summer, but it's always good to think ahead. Back on the farm, we got the kale planted and we were able to make 10 more spring seeds to sell from forageables in our chest. The chest was actually starting to get really crowded, so I made a second one to help keep things organized. I was hoping to find some largemouth bass in the lake, but struck out repeatedly until my pockets were full and I had to go home to empty them. I then decided to work on the slime hunter quest in the mines, killing 6 green slimes and making it down 5 more levels. At 11 p.m., it was time to head home. I was shocked to see we made 1,413 gold that night and realized that selling the spring seed packets is way more profitable than I had ever realized. Our community center potato and our first singular kale were ready on the 7th morning. I filled my pockets with things for Gunther and geodes to take to Clint's. On my walk through town, I realized Spring 7 is Lewis's birthday. I don't like Lewis, but I need to talk to him today so he'll pay me for my slime hunter quest. I can't very well show up empty-handed on his birthday, so I'll have to figure something out. Nice! Daffodil in the trash can. I haven't decided on any particular layout for my museum donations, but someday I will make sure that green is featured prominently. Gunther loves my donations and gives me 9 cauliflower seeds. I spend too much money popping open geodes and head right back to the museum. Lewis is outside his house and pays me for completing the quest. I give him the trash flower for his birthday because he is a trash man. He seems to like it, and unfortunately, now he's the closest friend I have. We got the museum cauliflowers planted, and yet again, more kale. Our farm is kind of starting to look like a farm. It's still a hot mess, but we have like 40 plants now. There was some forage to pick up, and there is always more debris to clean up. We also managed to craft some spring seeds for money. Jade chowed down on some raw fish that had been sitting in a wood box for a few days, which gave him enough energy to go find even more fish. For the second day in a row, I could not for the life of me hook a largemouth bass. I even went to make sure I had the time and weather info correct, which I did, but the largemouth bass just weren't biting. I did see Sebastian though, and I gave him a raw fish as a token of friendship. We made 475 gold on day 7, and that is the end of our first week on Green Valley Farm. I had a lot of fun starting this challenge. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it too. See you next time. Bye!